I'm starting to get this feeling that not a lot of people like Endwalker right now, just a hunch, you know? I've seen all these creators making videos on the subject of why they don't like Endwalker, but more specifically the post-patch content, and I was thinking to myself like, really guys? Why make scripted content when I can just rant about how much I don't like Endwalker? This gets way more views! I was an idiot, why didn't I just do this before? Okay guys, mom said it's my turn now. It's my turn to hate on Final Fantasy XIV. No, but seriously, today I wanted to take the time to talk about like Endwalker and how I view 14 right now and why I haven't really logged in as much as I used to in the past. I wanted to offer my perspective on things. I know Zepla came out to say that she's like a mid-core player, describing this kind of weird medium between like casual and hardcore, where they wanted some kind of content that's like not as easy as an extreme, I believe, and like, but not as hard as like a Savage or an Ultimate. And then Xenos came out to be like, you know, just loud and bald or something, I don't know. I don't really think I'm either of those things, but also not just creators coming out saying how they don't like Endwalker, but a lot of players have voiced their opinions about how they agree with these people and how they don't really like the direction that Endwalker has taken with the post-patch content. And there are so many reasons as to why people are just dissatisfied with Endwalker's content. But simply telling these people, hey, maybe you're just burnt out, isn't exactly what they want to hear. These people want to play the game, they're just not happy with the content that was handed to us. So let's talk about all that today. But before we continue, I just want to quickly say that I have a sponsorship. Raid Shadow I'm kidding, no, actually not Raid Shadow Legends. Your boy Ko has a sponsorship with a brand that you may be familiar with, and honestly, I really love the idea behind them. Today's video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. They even have my name in there, Sakura Kougaon. These two brands offer monthly boxes of Japanese snacks that you too can now experience. Look, both you and I play this Japanese MMORPG, so it's only a matter of time before you want to eat snacks from Japan too. One of my favorite parts about these snack boxes is the fact that it gets delivered straight to your door. You don't have to drive anywhere else, all done online, straight to your home. Their goal is really simple, they just want you to experience Japan from the comforts of your own home. Yes, you too can now enjoy the same treats that Yoshi P or Soken eats. To keep things fun and surprising between each month, each box has a different theme. Sakura Co has had Festivals of Okinawa, my home, and Arrival of Sakura. And for Tokyo Treat's upcoming box in October, we have a Halloween themed one. Let's start with Tokyo Treat. Both boxes come with a little booklet of things to tell you what you'll be eating, as well as the history behind the snacks and the makers. Tokyo Treat has a more pop culture vibe to it. You'll be getting up to 20 snacks that are the latest exclusive limited edition seasonal type flavor stuff. You don't want to miss this at all. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the best chip I've ever had. It's actually really delicious. Kobe Japanese Cola, which by the way tastes much better than cola in the States. Don't tell American Coke I said that. So many other snacks, but the one snack I really want to highlight from this is the Kit Kat sweet potato. Yes, this is a flavor. Now look, I'm not a huge fan of sweet potato itself, but something about this Kit Kat actually tastes really good. I totally recommend. And for Sakura Co, the September box theme is Crimson Leaves. Now, where Tokyo Treat had a more pop theme, this is more traditional Japanese feels. More on the side of artisan goods. You'll be getting 20 snacks that were created by local Japanese makers, featuring this momiji cookie, heart, I'm going to butcher this next part, Wasamban Senbei. You get 2 of these, so it's perfect for sharing with somebody that you like, or just having 2 for yourself. Some Japanese tea, matcha cream cookie, and many more snacks, but the one thing I really want to highlight from this box is that Sakura Co features a dishware each month, and for this month we have a brocade flower dish, which I hope I said brocade right. It looks really cute, and I'm a sucker for cute things with a nice design. Here's me comparing how big it is with my iPhone 11 and how deep it is. And lastly, it's microwave safe and dishwasher safe, so you don't have to wash it by hand. Alright, so this one is called the White Chocolate Fruits. I'm gonna try this one because it sounds really promising. Looks kind of funky. I think it's literally just fruits and white chocolate. I can taste the white chocolate, but I'm not even sure what kind of fruit that is. But either way, it's really good. I actually kind of enjoy this one a lot. Oh, you know what? I feel like a fool because literally it says in the booklet, it's just like literally just banana. So, yeah, good thing we have the booklet for that. And one more snack I really do want to highlight is the rice crackers, and these are so addictive to eat. It's gonna be so bad for me if I had my hands on more of these. Oh, yo, this is gonna ruin me. These snacks are too good. Oh my gosh. Sign up now before October 15th to get each of these boxes. Using my code, get it, code. Using my code Kougaon, you'll be able to receive $5 off your first box from Sakura Co or Tokyo Treat. Now, enough about delicious Japanese snacks, let's talk about the topic at hand today. Endwalker is at this point of being really dissatisfying amongst many players. And I did something wild and crazy. I actually took the time to listen to players and hear their different point of views. I know, insane. Can you imagine somebody actually taking the time to listen to different point of views? Oh, crazy. I try to understand where players are coming from, and I truly believe that it's healthy to have players discuss about why they're not happy about certain things. Players should not be shoved off to the side and not have their opinions heard at all, because that's not really conducive and not really... Is that a word, conducive? Not really helpful for the ecosystem of a video game. It's important to have people discuss what they're not happy about so we can see, you know, other people may feel that way, and we can fix that problem. Well, not us, but the 14 developers. However, I will say, if you're gonna be crazy and, like, yell at other players for having different opinions than you, then I think you should probably get offline and just relax for a bit. I've had friends, mutual viewers, a lot of people telling me that they haven't had much of a reason to log into 14 to come back or even sub at all. And this seems to be the biggest issue with Endwalker's post-patch content. The content is not good enough for people to stay retained to the game. And yes, while we do have a massive amount of content from the past expansions, the problem with players is the fact that they're just not happy with Endwalker's content alone. Let's talk about the dissatisfied people. And no, not the girls that I date. Why are people not happy with Endwalker? It's important to note that the majority of the unhappiness comes from the post-patch content of Endwalker, not the base game. A lot of people actually love the base game more than the post-patch content. It's just that the post-patch content had a lot of promise, a lot of things that they were gonna bring, and it just fell really flat. When it comes to the release cycle of 14, we get content about every 4 months or so, which is a long time. And just to emphasize, it's around 120 days of waiting for new content. The content that was even released for Endwalker doesn't really last that long either. And trust me, I know a lot about not lasting long at all. Many are saying that you can just knock out a majority of the content on patch day, easy peasy, no reason to come back to. Criterion is like the biggest offender of this, so when Criterion was proposed, you know, a 4-man Savage Dungeon type thing, I thought that was a really great idea. I was like, you know what, 4 people, you don't have to get a full party of 8, you know, easy peasy, let's get this going. But then the rewards came out and people were not happy about that. They were not enticing enough for people to come back and replay later, but also the fact that you can also buy most of the things on the market board left many people thinking, why run this when I can just buy it off the market board? Island Sanctuary wasn't this cute Animal Crossing-like sim for 14. Instead, people got this huge island that was just really lonely and isolated from the rest of the world of 14. The new Deep Dungeon was like hot for like 5 minutes before people realized, hey, I don't normally do deep dungeons anyway, so I'm done with this, and they moved on after. And Relics being the biggest offender as to why people are not happy with a lot of this post-patch content. A lot of people do not seem to love the idea of simply turning in tomestones and easily getting your relics this time around. People actually miss the relic grind, like spending several hours trying to farm for stuff just to get to the next step. Overall, the relics appear to be the hallmark as to how lazy the developers have gotten for this expansion, and that's what people are really using as a big, like, example of they gotten so lazy, this is the worst thing ever of this expansion. Other complaints that I've heard about this expansion is how it's been mostly catering to the casual crowd more than it has challenging the mid-core players. The lack of a Bozja or Eureka-like area this time around to keep people busy. People don't like how the job changes has been in the last few years, and that still persists today, with it being too bland. People rather have their jobs be very different from one another, be more difficult, and not be so nearly homosexualized. Homogenized, sorry. Wow, how did I miss? The biggest problem with the dissatisfied players of 14 is the fact that they want to play this game, but the content that Endwalker has brought really hasn't been too exciting or really worth their sub and money. But also, people don't want to drop their sub because they may be linked to something like a house in this game that they don't want to lose. So simply telling somebody to take a break, drop their sub, and come back later isn't really an easy solution for them. Another thing is that apparently the social aspect is missing in 14 a lot nowadays with Endwalker. Surprisingly enough, even though I heard all these complaints from people and all their reasons as to why they're not happy with 14, and I agree with you, I hear you guys, I'm not really aligning myself with this crowd so much. Like, I hear you guys and I agree with a lot of the changes, but for me, that's not the reason why I stopped playing 14. Now, I do want to highlight the casual audience of 14. You know, the people who aren't saying that, you know, 14 needs to be fixed or it's gonna die. Many do kind of appreciate the fact that 14 has been a bit more lax this time around. We are in a much more different time than we were in 2020 and in 2021, where we had COVID out and about and staying home was like the thing to do. A lot of people jumped back into playing MMOs during this time because, well, you really couldn't go out. But with society returning back to normal and people going back to their offices or maybe just going back to having a life outside, now that time is even more more precious and limited, people don't really want to go back to the grind fest that was in Shadowbringers or other patches before. I also want to note that 2023 was a huge year for a lot of games. I think this all contributes to the fact that people haven't really been logging into 14 as much because they've taken the time to be more casual with their time in 14 and go do other things instead. People may not be able to dedicate hours of grinding into the relic weapon and instead prefer to just turn in tomestones and just be done with it. Now this whole entire thing I'm showing you right here was Shadowbringer's relic grind. Showing this image to a Victorian child will make their head explode. Now granted, this is for when it was current, but these are a lot of steps during current content, and honestly, I don't think I would have done it myself. Some people believe that the content that we're getting right now really fits the narrative of 14 just being more relaxed before we get a next big adventure with Dawn Trail, which promises a lot of new things. Like, we're even getting a new Bozja-like zone, I believe. I could be crazy on that, but you know, it's promising a lot of things, and we're hoping those promises come true. So this may be the needed break before we finally get into a new expansion where they hear all the things we've been saying and then throw out all this grindy content, and then, you know, we'll see what happens there. And before you start thinking, oh, of course, Ko, now it all makes sense. Ko is a casual player. He agrees with all this stuff, and he doesn't understand why Endwalker is bad. No, that's not the case at all. I can understand both point of views. I just don't really find myself aligning with both. Now that I presented two sides of the people, one that is not okay with all the stuff that Endwalker has done, and one that is pretty much okay with everything that Endwalker has presented with us. I honestly see the arguments on both sides. I agree with some things people are saying on this side, and some things people are saying on the other side, but my ultimate take on the whole entire situation, and pretty much why I haven't really logged in as much, is the fact that I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it, and it's not necessarily because of the changes that happened to Endwalker, or like, I'm okay with all the changes, because, you know, I do see that there's a problem with few things in there, but I just don't care at the moment. Is that weird to say? I don't know. Like, I felt the same exact way in Shadowbringers post-patch content. After I caught up from the MSQ when I was, you know, just starting as a new player, getting all the way back up, I finally caught up, and I was like, okay, I'll do some things every now and then, and after that, I just log off. I agree with some things that were said on both sides of the argument, from the casuals and the people who were dissatisfied, and also the wants for fixes to the game to make it even better. I am definitely in favor of any kind of Bozja-like zone where people can go explore and do all this stuff. I love that stuff, actually, myself. Or even having ass sliders so we can have more cake in the game, because my character's ass is pretty flat. But weirdly enough, I still like to grind Island Sanctuary in a weird way, even though people think that it's like this soulless, boring, lonely experience. I still kind of want to do it when I get back to 14 one day. So it's weird. I wouldn't really call myself a hardcore player who's dissatisfied with the game, or I wouldn't call myself a mid-core player or a casual, because I've done a lot of hard things in the game, and I still come back to play hard content every now and then when I want to. There are things that I still want to do, like the current Savage tier, 3 out of the 5 ultimates that I haven't cleared yet, the Savage hard version of DRS, not DSR, but like the Bozja type stuff. Blue Mage, I want to get that up. I haven't leveled that up at all yet. PvP grind, all 3 Deep Dungeon solo runs. Like, I want to do all these things, but for some odd reason, I just don't feel like it at the moment. And I love 14. Like, I don't have any hate or ill will towards the game. I just don't feel like playing the game because I just don't feel like playing the game. I think it's because I just play 14 in a really weird way. When I hear about the social aspect of 14, it doesn't really speak to me because I treat this game like a weird semi-single player kind of way. Of course, that's just how I view it. I know it has MMORPG in its blood, so it encourages a lot of like people getting together and doing things, and people like having a game where it's bustling and people are on doing stuff. But oddly enough, all that comes second to me. The thing that I notice about 14 is that it's a very goal-oriented game, and without a goal, you kind of just end up kind of being lost and not really motivated to play the game as much. Unless I have a certain goal that I want to do in 14, I put the game down. Like, going back to the list, yeah, I could totally do all these things whenever I want to at any point in time, but right now, I just don't feel like it. Now, there might be somebody out there who may say, well, Ko, isn't it a clear indication that this is 14's fault, and the fact that you're not playing the game at the moment is because, well, the game's not doing a great job enticing you to come back to it? And to that, I say, no. Like I said earlier, this year has been a banger for games, and I already had a backlog of a lot of games already, so it's not looking so good, and maybe your boy just want to take some time to clear up that backlog a little bit. I've gone back to playing RuneScape, not because despite 14, because I don't really think it's in a bad state right now, but more of just me wanting to conquer the things I wasn't able to do in the past when I was a kid, and I've gone back to playing Dragon Fable, for which I blame Josh Strife Hayes for this one. I can't explore space and planets like how I do in Starfield with 14. I can't go have sex with bears in 14 like how I do in Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, okay, technically I could in 14, but it's not the same thing, you know? I'm looking for something different, gameplay stylistics, and all those kind of things, you know? I guess basically to sum up what I am, I don't even know what I am. Like, I'm not a casual player that doesn't take on the hard content because I've already done hard content in this game. I wouldn't really say I'm a mid-core player because I still enjoy doing savages and challenging myself to do all these hardcore things. And I'm also not like a hardcore player who's burnt out, dissatisfied by the game because I am not there at all yet. I guess I'm just lost right now, but even in my lost state, I'm okay with the game in a weird way. Like, I hear all the complaints, I get it, I hear it, and I agree. You know, I wish we had Bozja, but I'm not at the point of like, I am going to get so mad at 14. It's just kind of like, damn, kind of wish we had Bozja. Let's voice that, and then just move on to Dawn Trail when it comes out, and then hope that it has that. I don't know where I'm going with this. I guess that's just where I'm at with the game right now. And you know, just to put it back into perspective, I haven't really logged into 14 as much. I just kind of go on to do raids, and then I get off, honestly, because I don't know, I just want to do other things. I guess to sum up this video, I don't know. I just don't know. It's weird because I get all sides of the argument, you know. I get the casual players being okay with the content. I completely understand all the changes that people want for the game to be better and the next expansion that Endwalker failed to deliver on. But I'm just in this weird middle of like, you know, I log on to play the game when I want to, but right now I don't feel like playing the game, and even though the updates haven't been the hottest for everybody else, I haven't played it myself personally because I just don't feel like playing at the moment, but when I get to it, I'll get to it. I hope that makes any sense. I don't know. I have no idea how I feel about Endwalker, honestly. I'm in this weird middle, I guess. Once again, I truly do believe that people who are unhappy about this expansion's post-patch content express it as much as you can in a healthy manner. I may be like one of two people who still believe this, but I think that the 14 team does listen to what we say and will consider these things going forward, you know, to make sure that everyone's happy. And for the casual players, you know, just listen to the people who are unhappy. I think it's best that we all work together to kind of figure out, okay, why are they not happy? And, you know, go from there rather than go like, oh, you're just burnt out, stop playing the game. Or like, oh, you're being stupid, that's such a dumb thing. Like, I don't know, just hear them out. If they make a valid claim, cool. All right, cool. I do want to get your guys' feedback, so, you know, are you still playing the post-patch content? Are you logging in? Do you have a reason to play? Are you single? If you have a proper term for me, please let me know in the comments, because I really don't know what to call myself. Maybe I'm just a casual raider or something. I don't know. And before I end this video, I just want to quickly say, once again, please check out the sponsor that came for the video today, and as well as checking out my Patreon. I will greatly appreciate if you support either. Please check it out when you have the time to do so. Thank you. And I'm sorry, I don't know how I feel about this expansion. Alright, see you guys later.